if you're a good solopreneur, entrepreneur, if you can build a network, I believe that network is everything. As the world changes and technology continues to advance, those with the strongest networks, and take a look at the biggest companies in the world, those with the strongest networks are the ones with the most influence. Some people say, just be yourself. I think that's really terrible advice. At least it was for me, because I didn't like myself that much when they were giving me that advice. I didn't brighten the room when I walked into the room. I wasn't inspiring. I would have to psych myself up. So I just decided to be my best self when I was showing up. Be my best version of me. Still be me. Don't be a phony. Everybody can spot a phony a mile away. But be your best self. Here's one of the biggest lies. And I don't know your audience, but if they're entrepreneurial at all, if they want to build a business at all, here's one of the biggest lies in the world. And it's been told, and it continues to be told and retold by millionaires and billionaires. It somehow became trendy. It somehow became a meme, and it's completely false. And that's
Hey friend, I just wanted to thank you so much for stopping by and tuning into the podcast. It means the world to me. There are a lot of great podcasts out there, so it's truly an honor that you've decided to take the time out of your day to listen to mine. I'm really excited to bring on more and more inspirational guests for you. But before we get into it, I wanted to ask you a huge favor. If you're enjoying the show, would you please be so kind as to hit that subscribe button? I've noticed that over 98% of the people that watch our videos aren't subscribed, and subscribing really helps the algorithm put this episode in front of other people who it could help. And be sure to leave a comment sharing what most connects with you. So much love. Eric, oh my, do you have any idea how long it took me to book you on this podcast?
How long?
Since August last year.
No way.
I'm one persistent
my
lady.
Deep apologies. Sometimes you have teams who have teams who have teams, and there's blockers and there's bookers. There's people who are trying to protect you all the time.
I think that's marvelous.
I guess, but it shouldn't have taken that long. So I'm glad we're finally having a conversation.
Me too, Eric. And I'm sure you're also quite proud of my persistence. We did not give up. We kept asking and asking until you said yes. And here we are, testament to a lot of your teachings, in fact.
There you go.
Right before we kicked off, I said to you that you remind me, or when I think of you, what I kind of visualize is a modern Jim Rohn. And I know you love his work too, and you reference him. How does it feel to be compared to somebody like Jim in 2024?
Well, Jim Rohn, for those of you who don't know, he's passed away about 10 years ago. 14 years ago now. He had a big impact on me when I was a young man, and through his audio programs at first, and then through his seminars second. And then ultimately we became friends and worked together for a season. And a couple things I modeled from him. One was, he taught me many, many different lessons, but one was to bring so much value in the world that you kind of didn't have a scarcity mentality, as far as he never cared if anybody quoted him and didn't give him credit. He never cared if anybody, took his talk and went and did his talk. I mean, Tony Robbins was mentored by him for years and still uses a lot of his stuff and gives him credit, occasionally for that too. But he never cared. So I decided on one side, I wasn't going to care about that. And the second side is try and find somebody who says something bad about Jim Rohn.
Oh, I know. I think it's impossible. I mean,
it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to find a Jim Rohn hater. And, early in my career, it was much easier to find an Eric Worre hater, and much easier than it is now. because I've tried to like live my life in a way that is about contribution and kind of modeling that. At the same time, I will tell you, this will sound sacrilegious, is I've realized later in life that in some ways, Mr. Rohn was playing small in comparison to what he could have done.
Oh, say more about that.
Well, I mean, he just could have reached more. He could have done more. He could have had a broader impact. I mean, I realize there's levels.
And speaking of impact, Eric, I was looking at your Amazon reviews. You have so many. Your audiobook has, I think, 12,000 reviews for GoPro 7 Steps to Become a Network Yes.
I haven't looked in some time.
Oh my! I don't think I've seen that many reviews apart from fiction books, like very
some
well known.
Some people think it's fake because there just can't be that many positive 5-star reviews. It's like, oh, that can't be real.
I feel sad for anyone who thinks that, because
you can understand people are cynical. Yeah. People are buying views, they're buying likes, they're buying followers.
They are.
What would stop them from buying reviews?
Yes.
Well, I get it.
Yes. So your book, GoPro, I mean, of course, it's about network marketing. You're the expert. You know it all. I think that what you teach can apply to anything. So, sure. I mean, this could help people who are in construction. It could help life coaches. It could help people who are working in astrology or dermatology. I mean, of course, I know you have your specialty, but whenever I meet someone who's so passionate about selling and relationships and communities, I just always want to know them, because I feel like you have the secrets of the universe within you. Can I ask you what makes you so passionate in an ongoing, with such longevity, so passionate about selling and about people?
Well, I'm really not passionate about selling products. That's always made me uncomfortable as an introvert. I'm very passionate about selling ideas. And I'm very passionate about building networks. And I'm very passionate about teaching other people how to build networks and how to be stronger leaders, how to be solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. Passionate about all of those things. And nothing happens really unless a sale is made. But if you're a good solopreneur, entrepreneur, if you can build a network, I believe that network is everything. As the world changes and technology continues to advance, those with the strongest networks, and take a look at the biggest companies in the world, those with the strongest networks are the ones with the most influence. And today, with something like this, you can build a network and bring value to that network. And if you do bring value to that network, you can simply ask them what they want and give it to them, charge them a few dollars if you'd like, and make a living. So it's like, we live in a very strange time that the barriers of entry to traditional business are so low. You just need to have the intelligence and the vision to be able to learn how to build a network, build influence with that network, and then provide value to that network. And if you'll do those things, then earning really is only the level of earning is only limited by your imagination.
So networks, you're right. It's never been easier. I mean, I think what a time to be alive, right? I mean, what a blessing to be alive now, how easy it is to connect with others anywhere in the world for free in so many instances. When you see someone who's building a network successfully versus someone who's maybe building a network unsuccessfully, or who's not maybe getting the results, or who you just see finding a lot of setbacks,
What do you think are the characteristics of somebody who can add value and who can do this over the long term, and who can maybe get some quick wins, yes, but also build something that's meaningful long term?
Well, I think you need to cut through the noise. There's an awful lot of voices, and the number of YouTubers and podcasters have become a big thing. How do you get into the top lists of those? I think it's a combination of things. One is I think you need to do amazing things yourself, and then teach people how you did those amazing things. So that's the first, is like figure out a skill, figure out something that solves a problem for people, do it. And then once you've done it, then say, hey, if you'd like to learn how to do it, I can show you how to do it. So that's one way to cut through the noise. Another way to cut through the noise is just don't be boring. If you find a way to be interesting, and you can do it lots of different ways. You can do it with humor. You can do it with controversy. You can do it with value. You can do it with consistency. You can do it with some sort of hook. I mean, you ever seen the guy who does Hot Ones?
I don't think so.
The where he eats very hot chicken wings.
Sounds awful, but I'm sure he's very effective.
He sits across from celebrities, very high level celebrities, and they go from like 0 to infinity when it comes to the hottest chicken wings. And he has all of his questions asked, and he does an interview as they each eat a hotter and hotter chicken wing. So
that's not boring. That's not boring. Yeah.
No, it's an example of, it's just an interview. But he put in hot wings inside of it. And now it's kind of cool for big name celebrities to go on it and see if they can handle it. And there's some peer pressure because he's doing it with them. And he asks very good questions, and it disarms them because they're so overwhelmed by the heat of these chicken wings that they tend to answer a little bit differently. But that's an example, I think, of doing something outrageous. And then there's a Mr. Beast type of like high end where he's spending $100 million on a video to do something just completely outrageous. I heard recently that he's recreating the Hunger Games, like from top to bottom, exactly like the movie. So with prizes and the whole thing. And he's going to reduce it down. When he first did Squid Game, he recreated the series Squid Game.
Yes.
If I was to do that and spend all that money, I would probably make it a series like Squid Game. I'd probably make it 10 parts or something. He did the whole thing in, I don't know, 9 minutes or 12 minutes or something like that. Spent all this money. And I don't even know how many views there are, but hundreds of millions of views for providing something interesting for people. You're giving away a house for $1 or doing strange things. So don't be interesting, number one. Bring value, number two. Become an expert. Become good at something. For me, I became good at network marketing. I became good at teaching people how to build networks.
Yes.
How to maximize those networks. But learn something that is valuable for others. And I don't even care about how obscure it is. If you're good at mushroom hunting and, finding truffles in the middle of the forest, you can build a big business around finding truffles in the forest. Like in Hot Ones, where they're eating the chicken wings, he sells all those hot sauces. You know, he's got a whole business around it. That and he's figured out, in addition to his sponsors, in addition to all of his celebrities, in addition to all of his views, he's built a nice business around it, and he's built a name as a good interview around it. Then there's others who are, you take like a Lex Friedman, who is very dry as an interviewer, but has become one of my favorites. He won't even do a commercial read in his podcast at all. He's talking about science. He's talking about very obscure things that are interesting to him. But he'll say, hey, to support our podcast, see our sponsors in the description, you know, and now, dear friends, here is, you know, the great Susie Moore. And he'll start the interview, and that's it. And he'll go for 3 hours, 4 hours. So
Yeah.
some people are saying in the ADD world that we live in, that you can't have long form. Well, how do you explain Joe Rogan? So long as you're interesting, they'll keep listening. You know, so long as you have something to say, they'll keep interesting. If you're boring, it doesn't matter how short it is.
Yes.
Yes. Those are a couple tips.
I love it. So it's do something, master something, do something interesting, amazing, and then tell about it. Show people how to do it. And no matter the niche, like you said, mushroom hunting. I mean, I've seen people teach how to grow heirloom tomatoes in a New York City apartment. People want to do that. They care about their health and they're dealing with limited resources. And I've seen it. I mean, you're absolutely. And then when it comes to the boring piece, I love this because I think this isn't conventional, like conventionally taught. We're just taught, here's a script, just do it this way, or copy this person. Yeah, add a little bit about you so it sounds more like you, but just do it this way. And when it comes to not being boring, what if someone thinks, well, I'm not really that interesting, or I am an introvert, or I think that maybe I am kind of, I'm good in my one area where I'm strong and confident, but maybe I'm not conveyed as someone really paying attention to. I think a lot of people would feel that way.
Maybe. I will tell you, most influencers, most actors, most performers, most entertainers are introverts. The vast majority. So they've learned how to turn it on.
Yes.
When it's time. So sometimes you just have to find your hook. You've got to find your thing. What is your thing going to be? I'm going to go, like a friend of mine, her name is Michelle Polar. She decided that she lived in fear her whole life. So she decided she was going to face one fear every day and film it, and made a YouTube series about it. So she doesn't have to be that interesting. She just has to face that fear, whether it's eating an oyster or jumping out of an airplane. And the oyster was harder for her, by the way.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yes. So whatever, you know, so that's a good idea. What's something that you could do that would be interesting? Would you, you know, that maybe it's facing a fear, maybe it's deciding that you want to, let's pick a niche that you care about. Any niche, pick one for me.
Cooking.
What kind of cooking? Give me
just simple home cooking that's healthy and delicious.
Healthy and delicious. Give me a genre of cooking.
I would say Italian cooking.
Italian cooking that's healthy and delicious that you can do from home. Well, what if you started a channel that says, I am the furthest thing from a cook, but I want to learn how to cook healthy, nutritious Italian food because it's my favorite food from home. And I'm going to take you on my journey. So learn as I go. So I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to ask somebody for help.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to find a local Italian chef and go to his place of work or her place of work
Mm-hmm.
and say, will you show me something?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go home and I'm going to try it. I'm probably going to make a mess of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, here's a book that I read and here's what I learned from that. And pretty soon you're talking to everybody, and you're taking people on your journey as you're doing it. Here, hey, I've mastered mac and cheese. I'm ready to move on to, chicken
Yes.
Alfredo,
Mm-hmm.
or lasagna or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You could take them on the journey with you, and there's more people that can relate to. I would like that too, but I don't know where to start. So I'll just go on the journey with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it just takes a little bit of, I guess, creativity
Mm-hmm.
to say, what is it that I'm passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
And how can I make it interesting? Sometimes it's documenting the process
Mm-hmm.
of learning it. You could piece it all together and turn it into a documentary later if you'd wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's doing it first and then showing people how you became good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've been cooking cupcakes your whole life
Mm-hmm.
and you're just going to start doing a cupcake every day. Here's the cupcake of the day. And people are tuning in for the cupcake. Have you ever seen David Portnoy?
I don't think so.
Barstool Sports.
I don't think so.
He does a pizza review where he goes to a pizza place and he reviews it on a scale of 1 to 10. He goes in, he says one, and he's got a little routine where he goes in, takes the pizza. It's always cheese pizza.
Mm-hmm.
He brings it out onto the sidewalk. He's got somebody filming. He said, all right, here's where I am. And here's, what was recommended. And so we're going to give it a try. And one bite, everybody knows the rules. And I got to be careful because it's going to burn my face off,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll take a bite
Mm-hmm.
and he'll give it a review. And it's an 8.2, which is a good score, by the way, for him. If it gets into the nines, that store is going to be absolutely swamped. And he's become famous just around pizza reviews.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter what your thing is, so long as you can have fun with it and it's reasonably entertaining. Here's what's not entertaining. Hi, guys. I thought I'd go live. We're going to wait for a few people to come on. We're going to see. Hey, Mary, what's going on? Hey, Charlie, how are you? Good to see you. And you're not getting to the point about anything. You're not bringing any value. Have you ever gotten on somebody's live and you're the only one?
I've been in very small live attended. Yes.
Yeah. When you're the only one, you can't log off because they go from a 1 to a 0. And they know that you're the one who left. You know what I mean? It's just so
you're in the
brutal.
bad books. Yeah.
So, yeah, there's always something to find. And there's so many passions and so many things and so many ways.
Yeah.
Make a list of 10 things that you're passionate about and just either take people on a journey or figure it out and show people how you figured it out. Or, there's super yacht. What is it? Supercar Blondie.
Okay.
Is a lady who just goes and looks at supercars. Blonde lady who goes and looks at supercars. She has a huge following. Supercar Blondie, and so from that she's got sponsorships. She's got all different kinds of things. She's built a huge business, and she just likes fancy cars. Okay. Whatever. If that's your thing. It doesn't matter. So it could be around a career, it could be around real estate. In my case, it's around networking. I mean, for me, it's networking, personal growth, leadership, those types of things. The entrepreneurship itself, solopreneurship,
Yes.
marketing, social media, those types of things are the things that I talk about.
Yes.
But for you, it could be anything. It could be fashion. It could be, it could be hair care. It could be makeup. It could be, plants, like the plant you have behind you. It could be neon signs, like the sign that you have behind you. It could be anything. Literally, making candles, pick it.
Yes.
It could be anything.
It does make me laugh, Eric, how you say, and it is most people that's like, hi guys, showing up. And almost, and I'm reluctant to use the word worthy, but sometimes we don't show up actually worthy of the attention we're receiving, right? We have to be adding always. And you speak so strongly about value, contributing, making sure that any time spent with you is just time that's like, we're thrilled to do it because you're giving so much. I mean, what would you say to someone who thinks, because I think this happens a lot, someone will say, oh, but Mr. Beast or the car lady or Hot Wings, well, they're at millions. They didn't start there, right? They started with zero.
Everything big starts small. Everything big starts small. And then people are like, if you're looking for a limiting belief, you'll find one.
Oh, yes.
And if you argue for it, you get to keep it. But there's a million limiting beliefs and there's a million reasons why not to start or not to continue. It's too many people, they put out 3 videos or 3 podcasts and they're like, I'm not getting any return from this.
Yeah. Why aren't I a millionaire yet? Yeah, exactly.
Why am I not doing this? This doesn't make any sense. So they stop before they have a chance to go crazy. You look at Shannon Sharp, he was doing his club Shay Shay, and nobody cared until he had Cat Williams on. And once he had Cat Williams on, now everybody wants to get on because he had the most watched podcast ever because Cat Williams just laid into everybody in Hollywood hard.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes things interesting is it was controversial, So I'm not saying you have to be controversial. You could be charming. You could be interesting. You could be funny. You could be all different kinds of things, but whatever it is that you are, be the best version of that. Psych yourself up for it. Try and be authentic, but be your best authentic self.
When you say try to be authentic, do you mean sometimes it's scary to fully be ourselves, or do you mean that sometimes if we're presenting something that has an end goal, it changes how we show up a little?
Well, here's the thing. Some people say just be yourself. I think that's really terrible advice. At least it was for me, because I didn't like myself that much when they were giving me that advice. I didn't brighten the room when I walked into the room. I wasn't inspiring. I would have to psych myself up. So I just decided to be my best self when I was showing up. Be my best version of me. Still be me. Don't be a phony. Everybody can spot a phony a mile away. But be your best self, best possible. And, try not to give people your problems too much unless it's part of your strategy. There's some people who've built, there's this one grandson and a grandma. There's this angry grandma. And the grandson is just pranking angry grandma every day. And it's nothing positive about it at all. It's just funny because he's just pranking angry grandma and she's just cursing up a storm, angry grandma, every time he's pranking her. It's just funny.
It's sticky. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's all different kinds of things. But listen, whoever builds, you take a look at what's happened. Logan Paul builds impulsive. And he, in his second year with his prime energy drink, hydration drink, $1.2 billion in sales.
Wow.
You take a look at Dana White, who runs a UFC, with Howler Head whiskey. You take a look at with Casamigos with George Clooney. It's about the network that made it valuable. You take a look at Happy Dad with the Nelk Boys, that their seltzer. You take a look at High Noon with David Portnoy and Barstool Sports. Those are just examples. You know, there's Flecha Azul with Mark Wahlberg. I mean, there's Wahlburgers. There's all these different things. If you develop an audience, Jake Paul, Jake Paul's Logan Paul's little brother, who learned how to box and decided to fight older UFC guys that weren't really boxers, and has been knocking them out and making huge money. Good for him.
There
He
really
challenged
are.
Mike.
Yeah.
He challenged Mike Tyson to a fight. I mean, he's making huge money. He's not necessarily respected in the boxing community, but we do live in a world where whoever has the most eyeballs looking at them can monetize.
And
You just can.
what's so interesting is that there really are no limits to this, right? I mean, it's not like, well, you have to go to this college or you have to come from this family. I mean, there is an even playing field now. I mean, the opportunity. And one thing
A lot of people think it's too late.
Oh, what do you say to that?
I think they're crazy. I do think we're living in an interesting time. I do think influencers should build their brand as fast as they, or influencers, those who would wish to build a network. Okay. And there's a misnomer that you need millions in order to be able to make money. You don't.
I agree.
You could have a tribe of 1,000 people watching and make a fortune with the right value that you could provide to that tribe. And then there's people who have millions of followers and they don't make any money.
Would you say, just because I actually read this interview recently in Business Insider, this woman said, I've got 2 million organic followers. She's clear she didn't pay for them. And she said that she couldn't sell 20 t-shirts. She was like, can you believe it? What do you say to that? Because then people are like, well, why should I? I mean, there are so many points of view. What would you say to that?
Well, first, she hasn't built a good relationship with her audience. I haven't seen the t-shirt, so I don't know. But I would say she can't have built a good relationship with her audience. Yeah. And second, the t-shirt had to have sucked.
I don't think there was even a picture of the t-shirt. It must have sucked.
It just had to have sucked. If you can't sell 20 t-shirts to a couple million people, and they'll blame the algorithm and they'll blame, they've changed
the market.
The market's changed and all this stuff. It's not true. None of that stuff's true. It's just, as Jim Rohn would say, don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. You know? So if your t-shirt's fire, or it's funny, or it's cute, or it's whatever it is, it's priced well or whatever, and you have a good relationship with your audience, and there's some sort of reason, and you add some scarcity to it, there's only so many, and you think about all this stuff like a business person does, selling swag's not a problem. I mean, for me, it's just a tiny little business, so I don't pay much attention to it. But whatever it is you want to sell, it's up to you to crack the code. It's like a combination lock. You know, you can have 9 out of the 10, let's say it's 10 numbers. You can have 9 out of the 10 numbers and sell nothing. You get the 10th number, you sell everything. You know, what makes the ice bucket challenge work when other challenges don't? got to look at all this stuff.
And experiment and remain consistent. I listened to your interview on Larry King. How about that
Yeah.
for a throwback? Hey, good old Larry.
It was really, that was interesting for me. It was on kind of like his sideshow. I'd always wanted to have a conversation I'd had conversations with him, but I wanted to have camera conversations with him. Wish I had a little bit more time. I wish he had a little bit more time. But mutual friend, Harvey McKay, who wrote How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive, made the connection there. And that was fun to be able to have that conversation with him for sure.
Yeah. And I love what he asked you. He said, do you have to love your product? Do you remember what you said? I'm not sure if your answer would have changed.
Well, my answer is I don't believe you have to. I believe you have to believe that it has value for the people who want it. But can you be a vegan and own a McDonald's? Is that possible?
If
it was given to you, the McDonald's was given to you. What would you do? I wonder, is it required that you have to be a meat eater in order to be able to sell meat in a restaurant? I don't know if it's required. Does it help? Yes. Of course it helps. And do you have to be a vegan in order to be able to open up a vegan restaurant? I don't think you have to, but it helps.
Right. So, it's like, a friend of mine, she runs a bar. She's not a drinker, and it's just, it's not essential. But, I worked in programmatic video sales for a long time, and I was very good at it, Eric, I'll tell you. And technology I love, but it's not my biggest passion. It's not, I don't live for technology, but I really enjoyed it, and I could see the value, like you said. And people can tell when we know something's real. Like, people are smart.
I will tell you this. Here's one of the biggest lies. And I don't know your audience, but if they're entrepreneurial at all, if they want to build a business at all, here's one of the biggest lies in the world.
Oh.
And it's been told, and it continues to be told and retold by millionaires and billionaires. It somehow became trendy. It somehow became a meme, and it's completely false. And that's only do what you love. Only do what you love. Because if you only do what you love, you never work a day in your life. That is such bullshit. It is so not true. An Olympic athlete doesn't only do what they love. A mother doesn't only do what she loves with her children. A prima ballerina doesn't only do what they love.
A school teacher, anybody.
Anybody. So you're willing to do the things that you don't love because ultimately your passion around where you're going is strong enough. You love that.
Yes.
So you're willing to do that. So there's too many people in today's society that says, you know what, this isn't fun. I don't love this right now. So I'm going to stop doing it. And I'm going to go find something else. And as soon as it turns into work, they're done. They're gone. So there's a society that, and I don't want to be that crotchety old man that says, get off my lawn. But I do want to say that you need to be willing to do some things that aren't fun in order to be able to get the things that you want to get in your life and to serve the people that you want to serve, to contribute to the level that you are meant to contribute to. I think there are two phases in life. There's an accumulation phase when you're taking care of you, which you do need to take care of you. And then there's a contribution phase. And sometimes contributing to people that aren't grateful is not fun. Sometimes contributing to people that don't listen is not fun. Sometimes contributing to people who will blame you for their lack of success is not fun. Sometimes, having a deadline and having to push through it when you got other things going on is not fun. It's not the most fun thing in the world. So I think we put a little bit too much emphasis on fun and not enough emphasis on doing what's necessary to get to your passion. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying do whatever it takes. I think that's one of the most dangerous phrases in the world. What are you prepared to do for success? What are you prepared to do for your goal? Whatever it takes. Be careful. Be careful. As Jim Rohn would say, be careful what you become in the pursuit of what you want. Be careful because some things aren't worth it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Integrity. There are. I think that what you're saying is so interesting, and I think it's going to bring our listeners a lot of relief because there is this image that you do what you love, and you're just, it's all. You're just like constantly feeling content, and I mean, we say around here, a lot of success is boring. It's repetition. It's looking at the numbers.
Oh my gosh.
It's dealing with the same setbacks and coming back with a good attitude, learning how to manage that bounce back time that you don't want it to be 2 days. You want it to be
rebuilding,
pivoting.
Like some people think that they can build something and have it for forever. And that's never been true. But especially today, you're in the building business and you're in the rebuilding business. And if you're not pivoting every 3 to 5 years, you're going to become irrelevant very, very quickly. Think about your last, every 3 to 5 years for your whole life. There's probably been a pretty big pivot in there.
We say that we have a new business every 6 months. It feels like it's always changing. And I come from the startup world too. And so in the tech sector for Silicon Valley. And so it's always different. Nothing's constant. I love that. I think that's really exciting. And I think
most people don't.
Most people. But I read Who Moved My Cheese like when I was 15 or something. And I was like, this is it. I'm going to be those mice that win. I love change. It's like a mantra. I love change. I love change. And this is why I like your work, Eric. I mean, because wouldn't you say, and I know that personal development is like your sweet spot, but don't you think that boring work and that consistency and the praise that you never get for work that no one sees, you're doing the right thing behind the scenes, nothing's happening yet, or you're in that rebuilding and you're like, oh, Lord, help. What do you do? What are your favorite personal practices for remaining in the right mind to keep going? Because sometimes we want to throw our hands up in the air, right? And go, that's it. I don't know. I really just give up now. Like it's too hard. The world's against me. What else can I do? There has to be a backup.
Yeah, I do think there are times when things aren't working and you have to push through until you solve the puzzle. And then there are times when things are not working because they're not working anymore. They're vinyl records, they're cassette tapes. And you have to adapt. You have to have the emotional intelligence to know the difference. So I've had a few major kind of life changing thoughts in the past couple of years. And it's funny, you mature, you have some experience, you help other people, you have a little bit of notoriety in your little particular part of the universe. One is I've grown up in the hustle culture that you just have to work your face off. That's how you differentiate. And I've grown to start to challenge that. And the challenge has been, instead of just making up in just sheer grit, determination, and work what you might lack in opportunity or skill, decide that you're going to be more efficient in the time that you have instead of just filling the time that you have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm of the belief that you don't have to sacrifice your relationships, your health, your children, your family,
Mm-hmm.
your fun, your fitness, in order to be able to achieve all your goals.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to challenge your efficiency. You have to challenge your systems around everything. You have to be better in managing the activities that you put into your time, because I don't think you can manage your time.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing that was a big thing for me is to realize that there's levels in this life. And I've been playing in the kiddie games. A lot of people would call, how I've lived my life, the result of my life, a success. I have all the
Yes.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've helped a lot of people, helped millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
But compared to what I could have done and what I can do now, it's kiddie games. And when you get in the right rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you've been in some of these rooms
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that are so powerful
Mm-hmm.
that it's best you just be quiet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you're normally the one doing all the talking,
Mm-hmm.
it's best you just be quiet and just take mental notes and learn and pay attention to how people think
Mm-hmm.
and how they look at problems and how they analyze situations and how they carry themselves and what they're about to do next and where their vision is. So I love getting in rooms like that because it pisses me off.
In the best way.
Yes.
In the best way.
I'm not mad at them.
Yeah.
I leave the room going, I've been playing so small
Mm-hmm.
and time is marching on.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to get better. I've got to think different.
Mm-hmm.
And just in the last 6 months, I've made the conscious choice that I'm going to go to a place that I've never been as a
Wow.
person. And some are going to come with me and some are not. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's not about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about where I'm going to go. And my natural tribe will find me there.
Mm-hmm.
And some are going to judge me for going there. And some are going to ridicule me for going there. Some are going to go with me for a moment, realize it's not their cup of tea, and they'll go do something else. And that's all fine. External validation has stopped being a motivator for me.
When did that change for you?
I think from age, I don't know. It's just like I was such a people pleaser my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Always, if I had an audience,
Mm-hmm.
I would really perform.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and Dad, watch me jump off the diving board.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and Dad, watch me do this, watch me do that. If I had an audience, the camera was on, I'm performing.
Mm-hmm.
When the camera's off, I turn off.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first things I needed to realize to do as an entrepreneur is how important it is the things that you do when no one's watching. Very, very important. And the second thing is I made a list. My last name's Worre.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a list that sounds egotistical, but it's not, called the Worre 100.
Oh, we could all do this. Mm-hmm.
So maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
And here are the 100 most important business relationships in my life.
Mm.
And every 2-3 years, I'll redo the list. I found my 12-year-old list maybe 3 months ago.
Okay.
Guess how many of those 100 that were the most important in my life are still on my list?
From 12 years ago?
Yeah.
30?
About 12.
Oh, okay. So much change.
So 88, we're
Mm.
still in relationship, but they're not important.
Mm.
They're not. So just be careful how much importance you put on somebody that's not going to have a long-term impact
Mm-hmm.
in your life. And if you're controlled by the approval of others or the attention of others
Mm-hmm.
or the validation of others, you don't really get to control your own life. And I'll bet you even the 12 will change given enough time.
Mm.
You know?
What you've said, Eric, that I find so cool is like in this past 6 months, even with everything you've built, you're like, I've made a decision. I'm going in a new direction. I'm going somewhere I've never been before. It would be very easy to go, you know what? I'm good. Like I've done well. I've got my relationships, got my businesses. I'm good. and here you are. You're at your next frontier. I'm sure it's what will be revealed and what will come will be exciting.
And I don't know where it's going to be.
Mm.
I have no idea what it is.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is it's not here.
Mm.
Here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to become a much higher quality version of myself
Mm.
and have that manifest however it manifests.
You have that intention and then you're open.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even an intention. It's an absolute commitment. It's going to happen. It's happening already. And it's already making some people uncomfortable.
And you're okay with that?
I'm 100% okay with that. If I'm not making some people uncomfortable, I think I'm probably playing too small.
And by making people uncomfortable, is it because you're less available for things you used to be available for? Is it?
I'm willing to say no to some things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm creating some boundaries.
Mm.
I am not accepting other people's limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I have clients that I consult with that are huge companies that have chosen to believe that they can't do things because they're decades old and they have lots of employees and this is always the way they've done things.
Mm.
And I refuse to allow them to live with that limiting belief.
Mm.
So I am a pain in their ass.
A generous pain in their ass, though, because
I'm not going to let them play small.
Mm.
It doesn't have to take 6 months. It can take 6 days, and it doesn't have to take 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
It can take 6 hours. This is just a decision. You're choosing to be slow.
Mm-hmm.
You're choosing to be the opposite of nimble. You're choosing to be less and less relevant. Mm-hmm. That's a choice. Mm-hmm. And if I hated you, I'd let you just keep doing it. But I don't hate you. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to challenge you, every limiting belief you have, until you turn it into an empowering belief or kick my ass out. I don't care. Mm-hmm. It's like both are okay.
Yes. And it's in your integrity, because when you think about it, if someone's going to go in any situation, but this sucks and I can't, and here's why, a friend will go, yeah, like it sucks so much and I get it. And you're like, nope. I mean, call the friend instead. Like that'd be a lot cheaper.
Exactly.
Tell your friends your problems. Like I'm here. This is you being generous and in service, especially when it's uncomfortable and no one's willing to do it, or very
Yep.
few. So this is part of
Yep.
your evolution. Hey, Eric,
Yep.
increasingly.
100%. 100%. Not
Oh.
caring about the consequences of
Mm,
doing the right thing.
mm. Okay.
That's hard for some people to do because they're so consequence based and they're so fear based around the consequences.
Mm-hmm,
And they're so scarcity minded that
mm-hmm,
until you let go of that scarcity mindset, you're
mm-hmm,
not free to really serve,
mm-hmm.
you know?
What is your non-negotiable practice that you have for remaining emotionally fit? So you remain strong and you stay true to your commitments and intentions.
I'd love to say I'm emotionally fit. I don't know if I am. One thing, I'll come back to one thing that you asked before. You
Mm-hmm.
asked about, you know, we can sometimes be in a repetitive world, a repetitive business, repetitive,
Mm-hmm.
cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be boring.
Mm-hmm.
I am rebellious to structured authority.
Mm-hmm.
I always have been. Anytime somebody tells me I can't, I don't care what it is, I rebel against it. It could be the speed limit. That's
Mm-hmm.
just a suggestion. That's not a rule.
It's a guide.
It's a guideline.
Well,
Yes, I'm rebellious against it. So I learned that rebellion against what I should do was counterproductive for me to achieving my goals. So I found two hacks that I use in order to be able to do that. And I suppose they can be applied to emotions as well. The first hack is it has to be my idea. If I can change somebody else's rule for my idea, I'll work endlessly for my idea. But if somebody tells me I have to, then I'm going to rebel against it. I'm going to resent it. I'm going to drag my feet. I'm going to procrastinate. I'm going to do all kinds of things. So if I make it my idea, one, two is I treat everything like a project. Like having a daily routine is like death to me. Like some people, it's really, that's their savior, is having a daily routine that they do the same every day. For me, if I have the same 5 things that I have to do every day, I feel obligated all the time. I feel behind all the time. I feel annoyed all the time. But if I have a project, if I treat today like a project that has a beginning and a middle and an end, and I close that project and I cross it off the list, I have a sense of accomplishment. And then I always pick the next project. What's the next project? So living my life project by project, and having it be my idea works for me. And so that's probably an immature.
Whatever works, Eric. When you think about it, this is you knowing yourself, right? This is you knowing yourself intimately. If someone's like, my personal trainer says I have to, and you're like, I don't do what I don't do what anyone says. But if I'm like, you know what? I've committed. It's my project. I'm doing 100 jumping jacks, I don't know, every morning. And that's how it works for you. And you get your jumping.
I'll give you an example. My body has not been a reflection of who I think I am for most of my life. Okay. I'm not as fit as I need to be. I'm not as toned as I need to be. I'm not as strong as I need to be. So, and I always had an excuse. I always had something that would get in the way. And I had a personal trainer. I have no excuses. I have a chef. I have a personal trainer. I have a gym. I have a red light therapy bed. I've got a cold plunge. I've got an infrared sauna. I've got
You've got it all.
oxygen therapy. I've got, anti-aging doctors. I have all of it. So I just recently made the decision, maybe in the last 6 months, that my business day doesn't start till 11 a.m.
Mm.
It just doesn't start,
Mhm.
with rare exceptions.
Mhm.
So now I know I work for myself, so I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, here's my day, and I can show you because it's in my calendar, and I learned the calendar thing recently.
What have you been doing until now?
So,
yes, 11 a.m.
today, guest on Susie Moore's Let It Be Easy podcast, 11 a.m.
Only took 1 year. Only took 1 year to get here.
Yes. So my wake up was 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I had cardio from 7:15 to 7:55.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had the red light therapy bed for 20 minutes. I had the sauna for 40 minutes. I had the cold plunge for 3 minutes. And then I had the personal trainer for an hour from 9 to 10. So between 7 and 10 is a total absolute focus on nutrition. And from there, eating very specifically what he told me to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which was a specific protein shake and 3 eggs. That's what I had, before I walked down into the studio here to have this conversation with you. So, that little thing, I hate mornings. I hate them. I am not a morning person. I am a night owl. So setting my alarm for 7 o'clock, if it wasn't my idea, I'm not doing it.
Right.
I'm just not. And if the cold plunge isn't on my schedule and I didn't put it there, I'm not getting in the cold plunge. You ever gotten a cold plunge?
Never. Never, ever.
Get in a cold plunge at 48 degrees for 3 minutes. And I don't care how many times you do it, it is not fun to do. It's very good for you. But it's my idea.
Yeah. And you know yourself and you can make these calls. You're like, I'm Eric. I've been Eric. I know how I respond to life.
And it's a project. Yeah. I treat it as a project.
I like that. I like that, treating things as projects. I think that's.
Yeah, it works for me.
It works for you. Okay. So Eric, last question, because I can keep you forever. I mean, I know you've got all the goods. If you were speaking in front of, just say, 1 million 18-year-olds, right? And they've got big hopes and dreams, vastly different. Everyone's unique, as we know. And you could only really say 1 to 2 sentences, and they would remember those sentences forevermore. They'd be imprinted on these young people who want to go out into the world and do great things. What would you tell them?
Oof. Big question.
I know.
The first thing that pops into my mind is find a way to be productive. In other words, learn a skill that solves a problem for someone else or a group of other people. Find a way to be valuable in the marketplace more than just your personality. They say the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. Become world-class at something. I don't even care what it is. Become amazing at something. That's one thing. And then the second thing I would say is your network is everything. If you build your network, you build a relationship with people, you build real community, then you never have to worry about so long as you're a person of value, that you have something to bring to the table, and you have a network, you never have to worry about working a day in your life. Really. I mean, because all you have to do is exchange that value for the people in your community that need it. or ask the community what they need and then go find it for them. Your value might be, you might be the most resourceful person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a friend of mine, Harvey McKay, who wrote How to Swim with Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive, one of the best business books in the world. He's 92 years old. He's one of the most networked people in the world. He's top 1% of 40 different things.
Wow.
And I had a need. One of my clients, the chairman of the board for that company, is turning 70 years old this Friday. And he's a huge University of Michigan fan. And they just won the national championship this last year.
Oh, wow.
So what do you get a guy who's worth all the money? He has all the dollars. So I called my friend Harvey and said, Harvey, I need your help. Can you help me? And in one day, I have in my house, I just shipped it out yesterday, a one of a kind, one in the world, one of one commemorative special thing that he's going to be able to have and nobody else in the world has.
Wow.
Now Harvey's particular skill, he's very good at a lot of things, but one of his particular skills is he's a half a dozen phone calls away from solving any problem. His network is so strong.
Wow.
So be productive. Don't worry about being happy all the time. Be productive. Have something good to be able to bring to the world, and grow your network and bring value to that network. And you can have fun. You can contribute. You can find your thing. I think the longest journey in the world is from finishing formal education and finding your thing, that thing that you're going to be known for and do the rest of your life. I was fortunate to find mine at 23 and continue to kind of lean into it and still realize I'm playing small at age 60. So my anti-aging doc says I got a long way to go. So I'm going to choose to believe that and
yes,
and reinvent myself. But thank you for having me, and thank you for your contribution of what you're doing in the world and for people, and continue to do good work. The world needs more bright and shiny people who are trying to bring truth and value to the world.
Eric, Worre, thank you so much. If someone's like, where do I check him out? How do I find out more from this man? How do I learn from him? Where's the best place for them to go?
No, you find me on social. Just Eric Worre, wherever. You can find me on social. I've got nothing to sell you. If you're involved in direct sales or network marketing, there's some stuff that you can check out. But you'll find that if you go find me on social. But come say hi, send me a DM. Say, hey, I heard you on Susie Moore's podcast.
And I loved you.
Yeah. Let me know. Let me know. It would be great to connect with you. So hope you got value
Eric.
from this, Susie. I hope this conversation was worthwhile for you.
Eric, this was a true joy. Thank you for your value. Thank you for the work you do. Thank you for the advice. Thank you for being you and for being here. And my friends, until tomorrow, so much love and ease.